In this week's news, Easter celebrations around the world. Christians call for more compassion on religious minorities in the Middle East. And an historic vision comes to life.
This is InFocus Christian News and Current Affairs.
Easter Monday saw a colourful celebration in Sydney's streets under the theme Choose Hope Sydney. Hundreds of people joined in the Sydney Easter Parade, as well as the Free Family Day activities at Hyde Park. Organisers say Sydney's been through some tough times, and Easter is the season for reconnecting with hope. A range of human rights, legal and faith groups say Australians need clarity on the right balance between freedom of religion and anti-discrimination law. According to the Australian newspaper, Human Rights Commissioner Tim Wilson has expressed disappointment that the High Court has refused to review a controversial Victorian court decision on the issue. The Victorian Court of Appeal ruled last year that a Christian youth camp had acted unlawfully when it prevented a same-sex attracted group from using its facilities. Some legal experts say that religious freedom is not a very fashionable human right these days and is in danger of being lost in the mishmash of conflicting anti-discrimination laws. New figures show that due to ongoing violence in Syria and Iraq, the number of people seeking asylum is now at its highest level since the Balkans conflict in 1992. Australian federal MPs from both major parties say it's time to consider a similar strategy to what was done in 1999 to help the people of Kosovo, that is, to provide a safe haven in Australia during the conflict, on the understanding that most refugees would return home once it was safe to do so. The Australian Christian lobby has urged the Abbott government to support the plan, saying that Christians, Yazidis and Shia Muslims in Syria and Iraq are being targeted because of their religion. The influence of ISIS has reached other militant groups around the world, with a number of them swearing allegiance to the so-called Islamic State. One such group is Nigeria's Boko Haram, which rose to international prominence last year when it kidnapped 232 mostly Christian schoolgirls. A year after the kidnappings, the majority of the schoolgirls are still being kept as prisoners. World Watch Monitor has received reports of regular rapes, severe punishments, and even the deaths of some of the girls who refused to renounce their Christian faith. It's believed a number of babies have now been born to the girls. It's been more than 50 years since Martin Luther King Jr. observed that Sunday morning was the most racially segregated hour of the week, and it seems American Christians are still struggling with the same issue. A key leader of the traditionally white Southern Baptist Convention told a church conference it was blasphemy to continue meeting in segregated churches, a denial of the power of the resurrected Christ to reconcile. Meanwhile, a coalition of 34,000 African American churches has broken official ties with the Presbyterian Church over its support of same-sex marriage. And the Seventh-day Adventist Church in North America has affirmed its ongoing commitment to parallel administration structures for Black and other churches, saying the current arrangements work well for reaching diverse populations and urban centres. Research from around the world is coming to similar conclusions. Yes, it's tough to be unemployed, but having a strong faith can ease the strain. According to the Huffington Post, separate studies of thousands of people in Germany, Poland, and the USA found that strong spiritual commitments tended to leave unemployed people less depressed and more satisfied with their lives. The reason may be the social support provided by a religious community, as well as the positive belief of a divine being who cares and has a plan for the future. It's anticipated that a number of controversial issues will be discussed by Adventist leaders and delegates during the 5-yearly General Conference session meetings in July. But church leaders are doing what they can to set the right tone. 100 days of prayer have been declared ahead of the session, calling for the power of the Holy Spirit to lead proceedings. And a successful search for bearded Adventists has resulted in the reenactment of the 1903 vision seen by church co-founder Ellen White that focused on the need for reconciling differences and confessing sins.
We as leaders have let God down. We must humble ourselves. We must become living examples of what a leader could be when Jesus is in his heart. How can we beg God to shake away this Laodicean slumber?
Despite the closure or reinvention of Christian music festivals around Australia and New Zealand, it seems Easterfest in Toowoomba, Queensland is still going strong. US rockers Switchfoot headlined the festival once again, with music from a variety of genres also represented by more than 100 other artists. But the organisers of Australia's largest ticketed alcohol and drug-free event are keen to deliver more than music. Easterfest featured inspirational speakers and activities for both young and old.
He is lifted high forever. He is risen. He is alive.
And that's the news for this week. Thanks for your company, and I'll see you next time.